Good morning. Welcome to Thoughts Can Change Your Life with me, Reverend Wolak. I'm here each and every day at this time as we continue to explore life together, you and I, and all those who are interested in whatever we're doing today. And this is really about a discussion about personal empowerment. It's about personal responsibility. It's about claiming your power back. And so as you begin your day today, only you get to decide what's important for you. That's really the critical thing, is you get to decide what's important for you. But here's a side note on that. You can't decide what's important for someone else. So Lori cannot decide what's important for Mark. And Kai can't decide what's important for her children, even though she wants to. Everyone has a right, because of their uniqueness and the power within them, to make that decision for themselves. But here's the thing. We've been numbed down. We've been numbed down into believing that we don't deserve, we're not worthy of determining what's important. We've got to let the politicians, we've got to let the business people, we got to let the churches, the teachers, we got to let our family members, our partners, our parents, we got to let them make the decision for us, because that's the way it is. That's the way it's always been. If you've seen the movie or the play Fiddler on the Roof, one of the songs is, he's there, Tevye is there, and he goes, tradition, tradition. And the whole thing is about how tradition holds you in shackles. You become imprisoned by tradition. Because tradition is something that someone created and that spread and that wants everyone to fit in. Think about the traditions that are there. Oh, here's a great one. The tradition of Christmas, where you buy everybody and their brother a gift and you go into debt. You don't even like people and you're buying them gifts. What kind of tradition is that? Is that tradition about love? I don't think so. I don't think so. Here's what we buy. Do you know the only person that gives gifts in the Wolak house? It's Claire. She's 3. She's my granddaughter. That's where we give gifts. My wife and I haven't exchanged gifts for any event for years and years and years. Why? It's not important. You see, we question all that stuff. We question what's important. Here's what my wife and I have decided is important to us. Quality time together. Doesn't have to be a lot of quality time, but when we're together, it's quality time. It's honest, open, quality time. It's authentic quality time. It's not talking about gossip. It's not talking about complaining. It's quality time. It could be just as simple as sitting in the same room and not saying anything. Keshav says, do I like sweets? I love sweets. But guess what, Keshav? I stopped eating them. Do you know why? Because sugar is addictive and I get addicted to sugar and I don't want the impact of sugar, because what does sugar do? Breaks down your immune system. I want a healthy immune system. I don't want what a weak immune system gives me. So I have consciously decided that sugar is not important to me. Yeah, I made a conscious decision. Exactly what we're talking about. I get to decide what's important to me. Now, if you like sugar and you decide that's more important to you, go for it. I'm not attached to what anyone else does. Do you get that? That's what's freeing. Don't be attached to what anyone else is doing. Here's what I also know. You don't have to be around people if their vibration is not anywhere near a match to you. I decide it's important that if I'm going to spend time with people, we've got to be a little bit similar. There's got to be some way to connect. But if there's not, guess what? I choose not to spend time there. Yeah. And that could be with the person you love the most in the world. It could be the person you love the most in the world. And guess what? Sometimes it's okay not to want to be with them. Yeah, Linda says that how about avoiding added sugar? That's a good thing. You get to choose. Now, when I eat a fresh piece of mango or a freshly cut cold papaya or a pineapple, there's natural sugar in that. That's okay. I don't overdo it. What if these low vibration beings are your real brothers? Well, Keshev, guess what? I had a brother who was really low vibration. And when I left the house, we just never had contact. Maybe once a year. Conscious choice on my part. My mother would say, "Why aren't you talking to your brother?" I said, "We've got nothing to talk about. All he does is complain, bitch, and moan. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend my time talking with someone who's complaining, bitching, and moaning all the time. I just don't have the time because I'm not going to allow that into my life." Yeah, you don't have to understand, Lori. Yeah, it is his decision. Yeah, decisions are something that we're not taught about in school. Our parents don't teach us about it. Basically, our parents in schools and business teach us to conform. Make a decision to conform. I'm sort of saying to you, make a decision to be authentic and your unique self. And we can do that and live in harmony. We can do that and live in harmony. Think about this. Kesha brought up his brothers. If he spends too much time with his brothers and he's not a vibrational match, there's going to be verbal yelling. There's going to be physical fighting because that's what brothers do. My brother and I used to beat the crap out of each other all the time. My mother would make us, we'd have to clean the basement every week. Every Saturday morning, we had to clean the basement. I cleaned my half first. He'd be working on his and he'd be sweeping and pushing all his dirt on my half. And my mom would say, "Lee, you're grounded. You can't go out." So when I catch him doing it, I used to just beat the crap out of him. I realize now that he did that to get my attention. He could have done something different. But when you're 14, and he does that and you get grounded, man, I pounded on him. Not the very most spiritual thing to do. But when I was 14, I wasn't very spiritually aware. When my brother was about to die, he called me to come and help him make arrangements for getting him back into his own home, to hospice, to have caregiving, to take care of all of his affairs because he had no one. And I went in and I did it. And he bitched and he moaned and I just ignored him. And I did what I needed to do. And then we had about an hour before I left. He was living in Maui and I was living in Texas. So that's a long way. So I was about to go home and I had about an hour and we chatted about when he was 13 and I was 14 and he did that. I said, "I remember very clearly beating the shit out of you." I said, "I never understood what was with you, dude. You just prolonged it." And I realized he had no friends. So if I was grounded, If I was grounded, I would be home and he'd have someone to pick on, because that's what my brother did. He got attention by picking on people. It's fascinating. See, he decided what was important to him, and he took whatever means he could to get what he wanted. And people, that's what people in the world are doing. You've got to be aware of that, and you've got to make your own choice as to what's important to you. I wasn't very aware at 14. I'm more aware now. Don't get caught up in other people's stories. It's not your life, it's theirs. So I think this has been an incredibly wonderful discussion. I love it. Today is Agape Gathering Day. If you'd like to join us for a Zoom gathering, go to agapespiritualcenter.com. We will have one at 1:30 Central Time and one at 7 p.m. Central Time. You can join one or both if you so like. Everyone is welcome. Until the next time, folks, remember, you get to decide what's important. So go create your great day. And I want you to know, I love you and I accept you just like you are. Aloha.